Well, thank you very much, and now it's my absolute pleasure to welcome you, the finalists and dignitaries, to the 2016 Victorian Sport Awards. Tonight, well, it's our night of nights, a chance to acknowledge all the wonderful achievements made by Victorians in Australian sport over the last 12 months. This includes the athletes, officials, coaches, administrators, and those in the media. On behalf of everyone here tonight, I would like to acknowledge the traditional landowners on the land in which we are gathered here this evening, the Wurundjeri people, and pay my respects to their elders both past and present, and also acknowledge any Aboriginal or Torres Strait Islanders here this evening. As a very proud Victorian on all levels, I was honoured to be asked to be involved in what is a very historical evening, the first ever combined awards between Vic Sport and the Victorian State Government to honour our sporting leaders from grassroots through to high-performance sport. As a youngster, I desperately wanted to wear the big V. All my friends, well, a lot of them had worn it, and I desperately wanted to do so as well. However, I missed out on my childhood ambition, my dream, and that was to hear Bill Lawry say, "Yes, she's a Victorian." However, every time I stepped out onto the park and had the honour of wearing the navy and white, it was an exceptionally proud moment. With my playing days well and truly over, my enjoyment now is involved at a club level and just as rewarding but completely different roles. Whether it's filling in for the thirds when they're desperately short, or whether I'm turning a snag or a veggie burger on a barbecue for a club fundraiser, I thoroughly have enjoyed the role of going from a club athlete into a state athlete and then back to clubland as a person who can help out around the club. And I'm certainly hoping that a lot of Victorian athletes can do the same. My own beginnings in sport, well, a few barriers, a few stereotypes, but not ones that I can really remember. I've got to cast my mind back and actually think about it a little bit. And there was those barriers and stereotypes mainly because the two sports that I thoroughly enjoyed, cricket and football, were reasonably male-dominated back in the day. A West Indian dad and an Australian mother and loads of summer days playing backyard cricket meant that probably cricket was always going to be my sport. And I suppose the other thing is that I had 7 male cousins and I was bowling a lot to them. I never got a chance to bat, unfortunately. So in my time, I thought to myself, I want to play for Australia. However, I didn't know there was an Australian women's cricket team back in those days, so my main goal was to kick Alan Border out of the middle order of the Australian men's team. How do I do that? I thought to myself, as a youngster in primary school, I've got to try out for a team. So I took myself off to our Middle Park Primary School Sports Day, tried out for the boys 11, and I got in. I think it was just because they were probably a little bit low on numbers at the time, and I was so excited. I can remember racing back home, bolting inside, saying to my mum, "Mum, I've made the sports team." And my mum was beaming. She was so excited for me. She said, "Oh, that's fantastic, sweetie." She said, "What position on the netball court are you going to play?" And I said, "Oh, I hate to tell you this, Mum, I've actually made the cricket team." And that was jaw-dropping moment number 1. And she said to me, I don't want you to play. I don't think it's a sport for girls. I think you're going to get hurt." And I said, "No, I'll be fine." She said, "It's netball or nothing." So I went to school the next day, and being the extremely obedient daughter that I was, I signed up for cricket. But I had a plan, and I thought it was such a good plan. I took my best friend's dirty, stinky netball outfit every Friday afternoon, took it home to my mother and said, "Netball won 32-24, Mum." She was happy, and I was happy. And weeks went by until we played Knott Street Primary School, where my mum was a teacher. Now, she's a librarian. She doesn't know anything about sport. To this day, 30 minutes into day 1 of a test match, she'll still ask who's winning. So I thought, I'm going to be pretty safe here. Unfortunately, though, that afternoon, the sports coach from her school came into the staff room and said, "Well, we played Middle Park Primary School today, and they kept trying to tell me the tall West Indian bowler was a girl." And sure enough, I was enrolled in Little Athletics for the next 4 years. Fast forward to 2017, and I'm pleased to say that, well, I hope to say, that the majority of young girls growing up in Victoria these days don't have to hide the fact that they love a sport and want to play a sport. I think we're finally embracing the changing face of sport, and I think Victoria is certainly leading the way.